Hey everyone, it's Charlie from Daily Motor, and today we've got the real-world highway fuel economy test of the 2020 Volkswagen Jetta GLI. And this is rocking the 6-speed manual transmission. We're going to go out and do just over 50 miles out and 50 miles back on the highway, filling up right before and right after the test using the same method and the same pump to try to get a standardized real-world 70 mile per hour fuel usage stat. Before we get started, let's hop out and take a quick look at this Jetta. So this is Volkswagen's little hot sedan, if you will. Not a hot hatch, but a hot sedan. I think it looks really good here with this generation. Clean and crisp in this white, little red accents in the front. I would prefer a GTI, but for those who like sedans, the GLI is a great option. If you want to see more on the GLI, check out our sound system review as well as our full review. The links to those will be in the description when they're live. If not, subscribe to the channel and you will see them as soon as they're posted. So why do we do this test? Well, the EPA fuel economy test, which rates this Jetta at 33 miles per gallon on the highway, that test averages only 48 miles per hour over its duration. And we want to give our viewers sort of an idea of what you could really expect to see if you were taking a long road trip at a solid 70 miles per hour. Another reason we like to test is because manufacturers often are the ones that are doing their own fuel economy tests according to EPA standards. So by us doing our testing here, we sort of hold them a little bit accountable for their numbers. So we're gonna hop out, fill up this car. We're about halfway down on fuel. The GLI does take a minimum of 87 octane regular unleaded fuel. Do not have to use premium, so that's what we will be using. We're using the 3-click method, which means now that the pump has come to a stop after doing 8.5 gallons, I'm waiting 10 seconds, and then I will put low flow on here, making sure the pump head is straight up and down. Now I'm just barely holding it until it clicks again. See, we're putting a good amount more fuel in. Now that's why it is so important to use the 3-click filling method here. The first click was at 8.5 gallons, and we were actually able to get up to 10.6. So over 2 more gallons put into the car there. Now we're verified we have a completely full tank. We are going to head out. So we do these tests with the climate control set at 73 degrees auto. So select that. We're also going to go in here and reset the trip settings right there. Okay. We're going to reset our GPS trip settings. Okay. Oh, last thing we're going to do before we start the car, we want to confirm we are in eco mode. So there's eco, comfort, normal, sport, and custom. We are going to be in eco for this test. The way we see it is if you are driving on the highway and you want to get the most efficient fuel economy numbers possible, you're going to use eco mode. Now the point of this test is not to hypermile, but rather to drive comfortably and see what sort of fuel economy results we could realistically get from this Jetta. So as we get up onto the highway here, I'm going to use adequate amount of power to get up to speed safely, but I'm also not going to bury my foot in it just to see how fast we can get up to 70. German cars often do quite well on these sort of tests, so I'm excited to see what the GLI is capable of. Actually going to downshift to 4th here just to get a little extra power. Now it tells me to go to 5th, I'm in 5th. When it tells me to go to 6th, I will shift. Okay. So it looks like our GPS speedometer is smack dab on with the car, so I'm going to set the cruise for 73 miles per hour. And away we go. Initial highway impressions, sound is pretty good. A little bit of extra wind noise from the mirrors that I would like to not be there. But we'll see how seat comfort lasts. We do have powered seats here in the Autobahn trim of the GLI. And we will report back at the end of the test.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.
Okay, we are wrapping up the fuel economy test here on the Jetta GLI 6-speed manual. And I gotta say, just as I predicted, we're getting some impressive figures. If you could see that without it being too glary, we're getting 40.5 miles to the gallon according to the vehicle right now. Not bad at all. I'm really curious to see what sort of number we get at the pump, because if this proves to be even remotely close, it's going to be a very impressive number for Volkswagen's little 2-liter turbo here, especially with the manual transmission. Now, interestingly enough, on EPA's website, the manual transmission GLI actually gets 1 mile per gallon better on the highway than the automatic. So I find that pretty interesting. I'm going to coast off here. We're going to go right back to pump number 7, fill this up with 87 Shell octane, and then see what we get. Highway comfort's been good. Really, just a pretty solid, nice to be in car. I'm seeing this nice blue ambient lighting here in the evening. I did want to mention that we go at 73 miles per hour at this test in an effort to average 70 miles per hour by the end. And according to our GPS, we are averaging 71, so it's a little speedy here in the GLI, but traffic was very low, so it makes sense. Able to cruise right along at 73 for just about the entire test. Also, ambient temp outside was 60, I think it was about 71 degrees when we started. I have to check the beginning footage, but it's 67 degrees now. There we are, 108.4. Now that's the time since I started driving today. That's not just the fuel economy test. We're gonna hop out, do the 3-click method, fill it back up. Now that's interesting. After just 0.7 gallons, the high flow already stopped. So we're waiting here, 10 seconds. And low flow we go. I will say this gets a bit tedious doing the low flow on a car like this that takes so much. Okay, there we are. 2.704 gallons after 3 clicks. Looks like we are very much topped off. Gas is right up there at the top. Drum roll, please. 40.1 miles to the gallon. Nice job, Volkswagen. Well, let me remind you that the EPA only rates this at 33 miles to the gallon. That's so cool. So whether you're looking at the phone that actually gives us the readout, 40.1, or the car that says 40.6. That is a solid 40 miles to the gallon here at 73 miles per hour, averaging, what was our average speed? I mean, this is going to be probably a late average now. Well, I think it's a moving average, 70.7. Now, knowing that we can get 40 miles to the gallon on the highway and we have a 13.2 gallon tank, you could expect to go 528 miles on a tank of gas at 70 miles per hour here in Volkswagen's performance sedan, still sipping the fuel. We really love to see results like that. We love to see manufacturers going through the engineering effort to get better than expected results. And it's fun. It's cool seeing something we weren't necessarily expecting, even though we might have had our inclinations. Thanks everyone so much for watching. If you liked the video, hit that subscribe button, hit the like, check out some of our other content here on the GLI. We have a few other Volkswagens on the channel, as well as just all the cars we've covered. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.